Good afternoon. Hope y'all are having a good day. It's been a stormy, rainy night and it's been raining throughout the morning, but it's finally cleared up. The sun has come out. Hopefully it's here to stay. I got some more flower seeds. Some bachelor buttons. Some more zinnias. I thought those were really pretty. Found a white Cosmo. Some more dahlias. I thought I'd direct sow these. And look at that zinnia. Isn't that really cool? And some multicolor Cosmos. So a few of these I'm going to go ahead and put in some flats. This is some oregano I started. I think I'm going to put it underneath my lights because I don't want it to dry out before the seeds come up. Alright y'all, so in the process of watering, I found something on the side of my pond that was very interesting, and I'll show y'all now. I actually removed it real quick because, well, I'll show you. Y'all see that? So we have concluded that this is snail eggs. And I have some little mystery snails in my pond that I moved in here probably a couple weeks ago, and they must really like it in here because they decided to lay some eggs. And I read that you can remove them carefully and place them in a separate area where they'll stay moist and they will hatch in 2 to 4 weeks, hopefully. So I'm trying to figure out where to put them. I don't know. They don't need to be submerged in water because they lay them above the water line, but they have to still stay moist. So I gotta figure this out. And then I gotta get back to my planting my flowers. I think I'm gonna plant a couple different zinnia colors, and then maybe a couple of these bachelor buttons, and a few more of the Cosmos, the white. I haven't planted that yet. And the rest of them, I'm just going to direct sow. Zinnia seeds, they all look the same for the most part. There you go. I've decided to go for it. I'm just going to plant a few zinnia seeds in my first bed out here because, for one, the soil's nice and wet. We've had a lot of rain. And two, I have tons of seeds, so if they don't come up, I can just redo some more. Now what I think I'm going to do is just have little sections of different flowers, just because I have so many different flowers and colors of things that I'm wanting to plant. So I'm going to do a couple rows of these right here. And these are the zinnia called Envy. They look like a greenish color. So we're going to give it a try. I'm going to go with a zinnia called Violet Queen for the next one, and then I'm going to plant some bachelor's buttons. Well, I think I had a productive afternoon planting some more things. Alright guys, there's something I gotta show you. So, you know that amaryllis that I was telling y'all about that I thought might be blooming for a second time? Well, it did. And I was hoping it would be in time for Easter, but I wasn't real sure. Check this out. Round 2. Is it not just beautiful? I didn't think I'd be able to see it again this year. Look at that. Well, I was hoping, like I told you guys in the last video, that it would bloom by Easter and I could put it on the cross at church. Now, I'm not sure that it'll last till Sunday, but there's 2 more blooms that might open up, so it's a possibility. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Good afternoon. I just got back from the feed store. My chickens are out of food. Hungry little monsters. I got some cool little plants too. I had to stop on the way at one of the local nurseries. They had like little tropicals today. It was really cool. I've never seen them before. at this nursery. So I had to get a few. I also need to work on this plant right here. This is a succulent called a Graptivaria, and it is out of control. I had to cut this little piece off. We're gonna stick it in. I think I'm just gonna give it a new pot altogether because it needs something pretty. It'll look better when I'm done with it. All right, this is a bromeliad called Cryptanthus, and it's gonna like to have moist soil and stay in probably some sort of indirect light. So I'll probably put it over here on this side of my greenhouse. And this plant is also called monocarpic, which means that it only blooms once in its lifetime, and after that it dies. There are some succulents like that too. But we'll usually have some pups before this happens, and that means just little babies, basically, offshoots, and you can plant them and have another plant before this one dies. So it won't be like it'll die and you'll be without a plant. It'll have more pups before that happens. So usually they live anywhere between like 1 to 3 years. Now this one is called Moon Valley Pilea. This one will like to stay evenly moist, so if the soil dries out, it needs to be watered. I'm going to just keep the soil moist on this one, but this one likes bright indirect light. This is not suitable for, direct sunlight or anything like that, so I'll probably keep it on this side with my bromeliad. It's very interesting. Look at that. Super cool. These plants that like high humidity, I'll normally mist them in the morning when I come to water my plants. They appreciate it. Now this one is a pink wandering Jew, and it likes to stay in bright indirect light as well. It does tend to like to dry out between waterings, so you don't want to keep it in moist soil the whole time. I have another one that's kind of different in color, so you can see the difference. But this one probably needs to get out of this. I probably need to move this one because it's starting to get pretty bright and warm on this side of the greenhouse, so it'll probably appreciate a little bit of an indirect light location. Well, it's time to feed these chickens. I know y'all are hungry. They're mad at me. They ran out last night. They had to eat some bread, some grass, and scraps. Y'all are good. All right, I cut a few of these little Graptivarias off. I think I'm gonna put it down in this pot because it's big and it'll have a friend. And this one's got a little baby coming out on it. Look at that. Wait, let me show you. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that little baby off because I have a little succulent nursery over here. If I can get it off. Okay. Now this succulent had a pup or an offshoot, and it's already got a root. So I keep a little area right here that I keep all my pups. I'll just lay them on top of the soil, and they'll root in there and grow. Or you can dig a little spot for it and stick it in there. But this is just like a mishmash of different succulents that have lost leaves, or I've taken clippings off of and stuck them in here. Just a little place to grow. I actually need another one of these because I always get so many pups and so many new plants from succulents. Now, another thing. If you trim a succulent, which is totally fine, that's one thing. Succulents can be trimmed about anywhere on the plant. You don't have to throw away the stem because they'll grow new plants, actually. Wherever a leaf was, they'll sprout a new plant. Very cool. And I just cut mine off. Now, when you see it cut off like this, you can see that it's wet inside. Succulents hold a lot of water. That's why you don't water them every day. And This can be rooted directly in the dirt, but the first thing you want to do is keep it out of direct sunlight and let it callus over, and then drop it down in some soil and it will root. Succulents are the first thing I ever got into, and I did lots of research for several years on them. Just read everything I could read and just studied them, learned a lot of stuff about them, just watched how they grow and stuff like that. So I just really love them. I love working with them. I kind of understand them pretty well. So if I go out and I see one I've never had before, I'll pick it up and bring it home and see what kind of area it likes in the greenhouse. And even outside, a lot of these I'll take outside in the spring and summer and fall and let them enjoy the outdoors and look at them out there, usually up front by my porch, and then bring them back in here. But a lot of them I can just let live in here, because when I come to my greenhouse I like to see them in here too. So they just kind of, you just kind of treat them differently depending on where they're at. Succulents do not like a lot of water. The more mature ones will, and a lot of the sempervivums and sedums can do totally fine in the rain, but some of these soft succulents, they don't like to be drenched. So like a covered porch or deck or something like that is perfect for those. So a lot of them I'll leave in here because I don't like to bring them in and out of the rain if they're out in the yard. They all have their own characteristics, but that's what makes them interesting.